Hello, 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 hello. I am talking about remembering who you are, a journey back to your authentic self. And my name is Tammy Morrison. I'm here. I have some notes, so just you see me looking, I have some notes. So, in today's fast paced, ever demanding world, it's easy to lose sight of who we truly are. And I can speak to that because that was me just a few short years ago. I would say about 12 to about 14 years ago. That was me trying to remember who I was. Life's challenges, social and society expectations, the pressures to conform can gradually chip away at our sense of identity. And this can happen especially when we don't know what's up, Carrie Irene? What's up? So it's especially hard when we don't even really know who we are. We don't even really, we haven't really tapped into our identity, or we're using an old identity, something that we are not anymore. And so typically you want to take some time. You want to take some time and you want to start to learn how to drown out the noise. And what that looks like for me a lot of times is I just turn everything off. I'll just turn everything off. I'll just shut it down, shut it off, and it's all good. It's all good. Because what happens is so many things are happening in modern life. Like we have so many distractions. You know, Social media, of course, is a huge distraction. I don't care how you look at it. Yes, we do business there and, we make connections and we network and all that stuff, but it can be a huge distraction, especially if you're just doom scrolling. The opinions of others is another thing that we listen to, and sometimes we set intentions not to listen to it, but when we hear it, it still gets inside. And I can speak to this because my ex-husband used to say things to me that were ugly, and I would tell him basically you know to go get a life, not in that way. But I still would internalize those things that he said. Even though they weren't correct, even though they were ugly, I would still internalize those things. And so, and it creeped into my identity. Carrie says, you're absolutely right. Get on to do one thing and forgot what I was doing because I'd be on everybody else's timeline. Exactly. And that happens to us so much. We be on somebody else's timeline because we doing things for other people, especially if, like me, if you have, if nine is your life path number in numerology. So nine is my life path number. So I am naturally a humanitarian. I naturally will give everything away, but it's time to move on from that. It's time to shift from a part of that particular identity to where, I'm able to charge for the work that I do and not just always give it all away for free, you know? And so when you think about it, all of these distractions can create a cacophony that can silence our inner voice and leaving us feeling adrift. And I know that it's happened to so many of y'all. I know that. I know it. I can feel it because it's happened to me. It's like you have all this noise, you listen to this person and that person, or you got five different coaches. You're listening to this coach and that coach. And one coach just wants you to do things the way that they want you to do it. Another coach is saying, "Oh no, just go out there and just do something." So you have different opinions and different things, but who are you going to listen to? It's your journey. And that's the thing we have to remember. It's our journey. It's not anybody else's journey. It is our journey. Listen to yourself. Sometimes you have to shut all of that noise down. Identify the external influences that dominate your thoughts, whether it's comparison, criticism, or perfectionism. And a lot of us have all three of those. Some of us deal with one or more of those. Comparison, criticism, and perfectionism. I can say that I have dealt with all three of those. I'm in a place now where I'm not comparing myself to anybody but me yesterday. That's the space that I'm in. But I wasn't always there. I was in a space where I looked at people that did what I do, did the type of work that I do. Right. Same, all three, Carrie says. It's like I did, they do the type of work that I do. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, why are they, making all this money? Why are they over here with 10K months? Or, why do they have, a fully monetized YouTube channel? Or they have, 100,000 subscribers and all that stuff. Why? You know why? Because that is not your journey. Your journey is over here, and you don't know what they did to get what they got. You don't know what they went through, any of that stuff. So stop freaking comparing yourself to other people in their journey. They may have been on the journey longer than you. Sometimes you look at people and you look at them, they're like, damn, they're doing so good, but you don't know. They've been on the journey doing this stuff for 10 and 15 years, and now all of a sudden, and I can say this because I see people watching my videos on this channel from 4 and 5 years ago now that nobody was watching back then. Not a fucking soul. I think I had some videos with 5 views on it, but now they're watching it. You know what I mean? So stay the course is what I'm saying. Stay the course. And as you remember who you are and you journey back to your authentic self, you stop with the criticism and the perfectionism. Because here's the thing about perfectionism. You're not going to ever achieve it. You're not going to ever achieve perfectionism. So stop trying. Stop trying and stop criticizing yourself, because a lot of times, we'll criticize ourselves with a joke, but you know what? The universe knows nothing about joking. So stop with all of that. Like I saw a post on Facebook and the guy was asking about something about rich people. And so in the comments, the guy said, yeah, well, rich people don't care nothing about us poor folks. And so the guy responded, and it was wild because I was actually going to respond when he did. But he responded, he was like, who are you talking about? He's like, I'm one of the wealthy. he was like, and if because he was asking if you didn't like people because they were wealthy or something like that, if you hated people because of wealth or something. And he was like, who are you talking about? I'm wealthy. And I laughed. I was like, I get that. Me too. Me too. This is where I'm identifying. I'm identifying as being wealthy. And I'm not taking perfectionism seriously. Because you're not going to ever achieve it. So why keep trying for perfectionism? The other thing is, who's going to know? If it's your thing, they're not going to know if it's right or not. So why are we doing this to ourselves? The other thing is, we have to figure out, why does this matter? So when we ignore our true selves, guess what? You often feel unfulfilled and you don't even know why. Even when we appear successful by external standards. This is why we have so many people, especially those beautiful young people, committing suicide. They're killing themselves. Why? Because they are comparing themselves to the next influencer or the next person that does something that they do, or they are trying to be in perfectionism. And God knows we cannot even do that. What even is the point of it? And so when you feel like that, and especially because you'll see people that have these big businesses and all this stuff, and they are miserable. Okay. Some of the things that you can do is you can unplug from technology, which is what I did. I took a social media break. I didn't, and y'all know I typically go live here every day, or at least 5-6 days a week. I have not been live on here in over a week. I think it's been about a week. I haven't been live on TikTok at all. Not this week. I think once or twice last week. But I had to take a break because I needed to decompress from all of this. I got tired of looking at every other post with some political bullshit. I got tired of it, so I had to decompress. I just shut it all off. Spend time in nature and quiet the noise. Create space for introspection. What is it that you can do to create space for introspection? Where you can look at yourself, look at the patterns, look at where you want to go, look at what you want to do. Can you take some time out of your day and create that? Can you go outside and walk in nature? What can you do to help yourself to drown out that noise that drowns out your voice? And then you want to trace the footsteps of your journey. And so, one thing about that is our past holds valuable clues of who we are. By revisiting the moments, the dreams, and the values that shaped us, we can reconnect with our authentic selves. And so, what that looks like for me is I looked at my patterns. And so, one of my patterns is, and I'm shameless promo, y'all. One of my patterns is walking away. And that is why I wrote this book that you can grab on Amazon. The link is in the description of the video, but it is on Amazon. Walking Away, Winning the War Against Shame, Abuse, AIDS, and Abandonment. That is me. And so I wrote that book about it because I recognized, and in writing the book, it helped me to recognize the patterns in my life. And so my pattern is walking away. It has always been. And I did not even realize that. But how did I find that out? Because I took the time in introspection. I took some quiet time. When I wrote that book, y'all, I channeled that book and I wrote it in 30 days. And that typically is what I do when I write books. But I did. I took that time and I was able to see, and I started looking at my life. I said, you know what? Anytime things start getting crazy, I know I can walk away. Why? Because that is a pattern that I have had. That's a pattern that I've had. I started looking at those things. I started thinking about, what excited me as a child. What are some of the principles that guided me before the world told me who to be? These are questions that you can ask yourself. The world told me to be a woman who got married, had kids, got in a career, went to school, got in a career. That's what the world told me to do. It didn't tell me to think. It didn't tell me to reflect. It didn't tell me to get into the divine feminine and the flow. It didn't tell me any of those things. These are the things that the world told me about me. So what is the world telling you about you, who you are, and who to be? Recognize recurring themes or passions that have persisted in your life. These often point to your core identity. So when you start uncovering these patterns, like I said, for me, it was walking away. That is one major pattern theme in my life, walking away. I don't have a problem with it. I'll do it in a minute. I will move in a skinny minute. Yeah. Something you can do is write or reflect on pivotal life experiences to uncover hidden aspects of yourself and to find meaning in your journey so far. And so what that looks like for me is I journal. I sit down with my journal, and I'm not going to tell you that I journal every day. I journal most days. I try to journal in the morning when I get up. Doesn't always happen because sometimes I have things I need to get done before I can do that. So I do try to take time out in the day, regardless of when it is, just to sit with my journal, But I have decided that I'm not going to make that a do or die type of situation, because I want to be in the flow in everything that I do. But journaling is one of those things. You can write the stories, you can tell the stories, it's another thing that you can do. You can write a story as if you're talking to a friend. And that will help you to uncover so much about yourself, because I would guarantee that you don't know a lot about yourself. You don't know. And then you begin to peel back the layers. So over time, we accumulate layers in the form of, again, societal expectations, roles, or labels that don't necessarily align with who we are. Shedding these layers is essential to rediscover your authentic self. And you know what? Sometimes they can be really, really deep. Sometimes they are things such as roles that you play. And I like to say games that we play. Sometimes games that we play with ourselves. Roles such as employee, parent, or friend, spouse. They can come with expectations that overshadow your individuality. And many times in marriages that happens. You know, these roles overtake and overshadow who we are as individuals. And many times it takes us to a space where we don't even know who the hell we are. We don't know who we are. The courage to be vulnerable. Embrace the process of acknowledging fears, insecurities, or truths about yourself. Vulnerability is where authenticity grows. So when you are vulnerable, that is when you are at your most authentic. When you're vulnerable. Like I share things on this channel and on my other channel um, about myself. You know, I'm typically completely vulnerable. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all everything, but I share enough so that you can understand what I'm talking about. You can use practical tools. I talked about journaling earlier. Journaling is one thing that you can do. Therapy. Another thing that is so huge for me that I love and I enjoy is morning pages. Morning pages are phenomenal. Morning pages are phenomenal, y'all. They help to open you up so much because you get to basically just brain dump, write all the things out of your head so it's not swimming around there. Because for me, I have so many things swimming around in my head that if I don't take time to dump them out, they'll just be swimming around in there causing chaos. And so that's something that, you know, you can do. Meditation, therapy are other things to help you uncover and discard the layers that no longer serve you. Because a lot of times we'll be running around here carrying a whole bunch of crap that no longer serves us, that we don't even need. And so what do? We reclaim our power. Rediscovering who you are leads to personal empowerment. Once you reconnect with your inner self, you can begin living a life that aligns with your truth, not others' expectations. So what does that look like? Greater fulfillment, improved relationships, and the freedom to pursue what genuinely brings you joy. Now, sometimes as you take these layers off and you pull back, it's just like an onion. You pull back one little bit and then you pull back another little bit. And as you take these layers off, then you'll begin to see through this stuff. Because sometimes it takes a moment. Like I'm telling you, I've been on this journey probably a good 10 years, and I still don't feel like I'm where I want to be. I still feel like there are other layers to uncover and other pieces of the onion to uncover. I still feel like that. Um, but as you do this, you'll be able to understand yourself even better. You'll begin by setting boundaries, empowering yourself by learning to say no to what doesn't resonate with your values. And also, people always talk about learning to say no, but what about learning to say yes when you need to? Because sometimes there are times when you should say yes, and then there are times when you should say no. So creating those boundaries so that you know which times are which. If this is your time to say yes, I have that problem a lot. Like I used to say that I had shiny object syndrome. So I would see a course because I love to learn. I would see a book because I love to learn. I would watch a video because I love to learn. But then I have to say, okay, and they'll pop up, how they do, they pop up on Facebook and it's like, oh, this is this 7-day challenge or this 5-day something, or this all day thing, or this 3-day thing. And I'm like, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I can't do it. But it took me a long time to get to the place where I realized that it was nothing wrong with me because I couldn't do it. It's a part of how I'm freaking designed. I just can't do it. You know what I mean? And so, but it took me a long time to realize that. So I was still out here, signing up for all this stuff and know the hell I couldn't do it. I'd be like, I cannot do 7 days. I can't do it. I said, plus for one thing, most of the 7-day stuff that I've done, it's a bunch of bullshit. They could do it in one session. They stringed out and and draw it out, and so they can, sell you the program at the end or whatever. And that's cool. That's fine because that's what you're supposed to do. But I just can't do it. But it took me a long time to realize that. Like I've been trying. I would be trying and I would be wondering, what is wrong with me? Why can't I, do these things that other people can do? Why? Because that is not for me. And once you realize that, and once you um, make peace with it, because that's what I had to do. I was like, you know what? And people invite me all the time to stuff. They're like, oh, well, I have this 7-day challenge. You know how they do it in the DMs. I got this 7-day challenge. It's going to show you how to do blah 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 blah. It's going to show you how to stand on the moon. You want the link? And I used to say, yeah, send me the link, and I would sign up and stuff. And then I have 50,000 million things in my email. And so now I say, no, I don't want it. I said, no, I don't want it because I don't have time to do it. I said, or I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the mental capacity to do that. And I'm not going to do it. So why even put it out there, and why put myself out there? And so when you make your decisions that honor your authentic self, even if it means stepping outside of your comfort zone, this one, y'all, is huge. Sometimes when you say yes to something that it's time for you to say yes to, is stepping out of your comfort zone. There are things that I have done recently that has pulled me completely out of my comfort zone, but it's been a beautiful thing because I said yes to something that I normally probably would have said no to. And it's a beautiful thing, and I've done a few things like that. There are some things I said no to, that I knew I was supposed to say no to them. Just like all of those challenges and those things that people send you in your DMs and all this stuff, and the stuff that looks so good, and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, yeah, I want that. I want that. So now, I take a moment, even like in the store, I take a moment. And I look at the thing and I say, should I get this? Something, I see. And I walk around the store a little bit with it. I walk around the store. Sometimes I have it in the cart. I walk around the store and then I say, do I really want this? And if I don't get a strong yes, I put it back. And that is something that I have grown into. And it's something that I encourage everyone to do. And it's not that I don't have the money, it's not about that. It's just about, do I need this? Do I want it? Is it something that I should get now? Because sometimes we want stuff, but it's not the time. Let me say that again. Sometimes we want stuff, but it's not the time. So what you want to do in beginning to live authentically is do some daily practice. Remembering who you are is not a one-time revelation. It's a lifelong practice. And so life circumstances, of course, may challenge your sense of self, but maintaining connection requires ongoing effort. So what you want to do is you want to do some daily rituals. And when I say rituals, I don't want y'all to get crazy. Incorporate gratitude, self-reflection, or mindfulness practices to keep in touch with your inner self. So if you meditate, that is one way to do it. Another way is to go out in nature. Another way is to take some time to yourself and be alone. If you have to do it in the bathroom, go in the bathroom and take some time. I know a girl, she used to go in the bathroom when her kids were little. She would go in the bathroom and close the shower curtain and get inside the tub. Not with no water or nothing like that, just to spend her some quality time with her. Surround yourself with the right people. Build relationships with those who support and celebrate your authentic self. I can't stress this enough. Find your tribe. Attract your tribe. Let's say that. Attract your tribe. Build the relationships with people that celebrate you and love you. My thing is, I'm going to go where I'm celebrated, not tolerated. And then evolving with time, accept that as you grow, your definition of authenticity may shift, and that's okay. Growth is a part of the process. All right. So life has a way of pulling us away from who we are, but it also offers endless opportunities to come back to ourselves. By quieting the noise, reflecting on your journey, and embracing your authentic self, you can live a life of purpose, joy, and empowerment. Remember, the path to authenticity isn't a destination. It's a way of being. So I hope that I've helped you guys today in this. I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to pull a card for us to finish this out for our best and highest. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you are subscribed and that you like, share, and subscribe. That you check me out as well on TikTok at Intuitive Tammy. I am Intuitive Tammy on TikTok, on Fanbase, on Clapper, on Favorited, and on here. So Freya is the card that came, phases and cycles. There's a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. So there is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. Freya, phases and cycles. So we all go through them. They happen all the time. Just know that everything is working out for your good. Just know that everything is working out for your good. And I want y'all to chill out, be calm, and allow. And I want you to take your place on the wall at this time. So again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. I hope that everything is lovely in your world. And yeah, and so you may see me tomorrow. But have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.